Because they're finding every way to be negative. People don't like negative all the time. So you think about this G20 summit. They were trying to nitpick every little thing. Even that meeting with Vladimir Putin, it didn't go on long enough. You know, he didn't talk about the meddling enough. Or no, they said the meeting went on too long.
They said both.
Actually.
They said both because they can't win. They can't figure
but
it out.
yesterday, the attack was on the first daughter, Ivanka Trump, who happened to step in for her dad at this roundtable on women entrepreneurship, by the way, which is something that she knows a thing or two about, starting her own business. So she was attacked because the president stepped away to meet with another world leader, right? The head of Indonesia.
The head of Indonesia, the largest Muslim population in the world.
Which was probably important for him to do. So she stepped in for a few moments on something that she knew a lot about, as we said, got totally ripped apart by the mainstream media, by liberals. We had Jamila Bey on. We were debating this morning, and here's what she said about it.
Perception carries a multitude, and the fact that the world is watching what's going on right now, the world got to see Donald Trump's little girl Ivanka sitting in for her daddy at the big table. The world got to see world leaders talking around Donald Trump, not talking with him. Ivanka has had no legislative experience at all, period, until now.
That is so offensive.
So little girl. So she said that she was a journalist. She says, do not identify me. Don't call me a Democrat. I'm actually a journalist, which made it worse because the way she talked about Ivanka Trump, you almost want to say, no, I am a Democrat. I am, opinionated here.
Once again, as we say, other people have said, you're repeating yourself when you say Democrat and journalist.
But when we talk about qualifications, I mean, it's been reported by a number of outlets that Hillary Clinton sat in for her husband at the G20 summit. When we talk about qualifications, what are we referring to? This is someone that is very well educated. She's represented herself pretty fantastically on the world stage. Well. I mean, she knows a lot about what she's talking about when it comes to business and for women's rights.
Female entrepreneurship was the focus. She is a multi-million-dollar female entrepreneur. What am I missing? Right?
You're missing nothing. And David Bossie had pretty much the same thing to say earlier on in the program. Take a listen.
It's unbelievable that the left would allow this to happen and not just condemn these remarks. If it was somebody, a conservative commentator, saying these things about Hillary Clinton or anyone or Hillary's daughter, okay, they would be apoplectic, and it is absolutely wrong for the left to be attacking Ivanka on these issues. If you agree with them, they're on your side, and they will fight for you. If you are not on their side, they will demean you in the most ugly terms, and it is quite frankly, it's offensive. I'm offended for Ivanka.
And we all should be. Those are absurd comments.
Feminism and feminists and how they attacked her in this instance. Again, it's not like they put Barron out there, who's 11, 12 years old. She is a grown woman. She knows what she's doing. I don't know.
The president has the prerogative to do whatever he wants. He chose a representative to sit at the table. She's highly qualified. What else? I mean,
also, you know what? If you grow up in a political family, they're not necessarily political, but they've grown up obviously doing business. She's grown up traveling the world with her dad. She has an education of her own business. Oftentimes, your family knows more than any of your advisors because they have been with you the entire way. They know you inside and out. So every time a family is criticized on the political stage, I've been through this myself. I've seen the other side of it. You see the inside of politics. You see the inner workings. You know a lot more than anyone gives you credit for. And you know the most important person on that job, and that is your parent that is doing it.
That's a great point.
I'm sorry. I think that the critics, they're not in that seat. It's always easy to critique from far away.
Of course. And you know she'd be on the cover of every magazine every day if she were a Democrat.
Like
if this was a Democratic
Chelsea
administration.
has been on every cover of every magazine.
It's the double standard and the hypocrisy is unbelievable.
You keep refreshing.
I keep refreshing. Sorry, I'm not just reading my phone during the show. President Trump just finished the trio tweet that we had mentioned earlier. He finished his previous sentence, which was questions were asked about why the CIA and FBI had to ask the DNC 13 times for their server and were still rejected. Still don't, and this is the new tweet, have it. He said, fake news said 17 intel agencies when actually 4 and had to apologize. Why did Obama do nothing when he had info before the election? Something we said just a bit ago.
You know why he has to tweet it, though?
Info,
because you saw the corrections that were made about that. It was like buried on a Friday night. One of them was like at the back of the paper. So a lot of people don't read full papers anymore. I don't know if you guys know that.
and it was right before the 4th of July, too. It was the Friday before the 4th of July when a lot of these so-called news agencies retracted this fake news and finally admitted it wasn't every intel agency. If he doesn't tweet it, it doesn't get out there with the way it needs to. He wants to drive the news because the news is being driven against him. It's actually genius.
And I think a lot of folks will attack Trump's tweets, some of them for being sort of not appropriate. But I think at the end of the day, you see why he has to tweet. As Pete and Abby just said, if he doesn't get the message out, I guarantee we don't want you to do this, but flip over to some other channels right now. They're not talking about these tweets. They're not. Yeah. They're not talking about the message. They're not talking about the accomplishments.
If they are, they're doing it in a derogatory way.
Correct.
Sure. Assuming it in a derogatory way.
Look, he's got momentum coming off this G20 TWIP. He's got to keep that momentum going, and I think we're seeing that with a lot of these tweets going directly to the American people. So we'll keep a close eye on those and bring you any new developments that come. But I want to bring you some other headlines we're following, starting with a Fox News alert. And 9 people are shot, including 3 children, during a gender reveal party. 1 woman was killed. This all happening just outside of Cincinnati.